Hi.
We're here.
Just totally zoned out a little bit.
Let's get it started.
Can you hear my snapping?
hear-
I'm not a really good snapper. I always struggled with that as a child.
Oh, do you want to talk about that?
Maybe another time.
I'm so sorry for you. That must have been hard.
Yeah, it was pretty traumatic. I'll talk
Were
about
you
it.
bullied?
Yes, every day. For my snapping.
Every day.
It's awful. Thank God I could whistle. I'm a really good whistler.
Oh, could you play the recorder though?
I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you must have made some friends.
Right?
We're here for chapters 32 to 36 of A Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm pumped up because,
It's just so good.
well, it's so good, but it feels like we're heading on a vacay.
It does. Yes.
I don't go on a lot of those, so I like to pretend
Yeah.
that we're heading to the Palm Beaches and the I don't know how else to describe it.
When I picture it, I think of a mix of like Greece
Yes.
and Olympus.
Okay.
That's my kind of main how
Or
I've
the
envisioned.
south of France.
Yes, from all the times I've been there.
Yeah, I've never been. This is what the south of France is
Yeah.
in my head.
Yeah. Or Ibiza.
Ibiza. Oh, I've been there.
Oh, well, okay. Well, you suck.
On my
Well,
travels.
I'm going on a real vacation this week, so...
Yes. I don't know that Las Vegas is similar to the Summer Court.
I mean, parts of it are, like, made up to look like that. Like Caesar's. You know, because, like, the pretty things. It's pretty much the Summer Court.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. One thing we didn't talk about last time is in Velaris, when the peeps go to the club.
Yes. And Moore gets Asriel and Cass to go with her.
Yes. We had been talking off recording about what music are they playing. Or you posed this, and I actually had never even thought about it because they are electronic free.
Yes.
Right? It's not like they have a DJ. They don't even have phones. Like,
No. And their lights all powered by magic.
yeah.
So, yeah, I was confused about that when they were like, let's go dancing. And
What?
Yeah. And I picture them so, like, modern looking.
Right.
Because they are really described that way. Like, even like
think
the
so.
clothing. And so it's such like a mishmash in your head. So, yeah, like, what are they dancing to exactly?
So maybe here are the options. It's a folk band. No.
I can't see them doing that.
A jazz band.
That's kind of the closest thing I've come to think of. Because originally when I was thinking of it, I wasn't putting it together. I'm like, yeah, they're like going clubbing, like listening to dance music.
That is how I pictured it in my head, and I know, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no, they're clearly not. People are playing instruments and singing.
Okay, if someone out there isn't doing this already, figure out how to do electronic or techno music without any electronics.
Ooh, I kind of want to research that now.
I know, I always
Google it a
assume
bit?
when I have an idea that it already exists somewhere. I never think that
Someone
they're
else
unique.
probably figured
Someone
it out.
has to be doing this.
Yes.
Because what...
Then you think of in like movies or shows where they show like back when like the war ended. I just watched this in a show and they went to like a basement club and it was like lots of dancing. It looked super fun.
Oh, like the Titanic.
Yes. And like people are playing instruments and singing.
But isn't that folky?
Well, Titanic, it's folky.
Okay.
But the one I watched, it was like blues and it was, but still like upbeat. Like people were dancing.
Okay, well maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe we figured it out.
We are geniuses.
Okay. I'll probably pose this to the socials because I actually want to know what other people think this is. What I don't even know what other genre is danceable without.
We'll figure it out.
We will.
Maybe we'll look at some of those artists that we've started to follow that do the instrumental.
What do you think they listen to in the Summer Court?
Ooh, good question. Seashells. Seashell music.
People blowing into seashells.
That's what they do. They listen to really like ambiance, like sleep music, like waves crashing on the rocks and seashells clicking together.
No, I bet they have a lot of flute music.
Ooh, maybe, yeah.
A lot of flutes.
Or drums. Not drums, but banging on seashells.
Bongos?
Bongos.
The bongos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like island vibes.
Island. Yeah, like Jamaican.
Yeah.
All right. We figured it out again.
Yep. So I have a surprise. I got you a present. Ooh.
It's not my birthday.
It's not. I mean, it is Mother's Day on Sunday.
Oh.
This is not what it's for, though.
Well, it says celebrate. What are we celebrating?
Well, Katie gave me this for my birthday. I just reused the bag.
Oh.
Just to thank you, because Christine does pretty much everything. I take pictures and I talk a lot. Like I comment on stuff on social media, but you do all like the work. So.
Oh, that's so nice. Look, I got 2 presents in one day.
Oh, you did.
I got a Mother's Day gift.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's a bookish shirt. I didn't want to get you like an ACOTAR one because I feel like that's a really personal choice. So this is from that Books and Babes one that I like.
I love villains.
Right? I know you do. There's skulls on it. You love skulls.
I love skulls. I love cherries.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I can't hug you because there's too many things in between.
We can hug later. There's one more thing in there.
Oh.
It's for your bookshelf.
Is this a cereal?
Yeah, it's Steve Buscemi.
It's Steve Buscemi. Oh my god. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a little cereal character thing that you can just sit on your bookshelf. It's super cute.
So scary.
Yeah. Your kids will love it.
Oh, well, I'll put it out of their reach.
Yeah, you're going to have to put it up real high.
Thank you. That's so nice.
You're welcome. Thanks for doing all the things that I can't do.
Thank you for being good with technology.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put that on soon.
Yeah, so next episode, because I also got one from her, so then we can both wear ones. It's really exciting.
It's like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
It is. Our cousins. Okay, go to the drinks.
Yes.
So, since we are heading to the summer court, today's drink is a pina colada.
If you like pina colada.
Getting caught in the rain. Great story behind that if anyone's ever really listened to it. So this is a freshly made pina colada. I've only had pina coladas at destination weddings, so I don't think they're made with fresh ingredients fully.
On destination weddings?
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't they have access in the...
Yeah, but, you know, they're kind of like in the bar. I think they're trying to also do things cheaper.
Right.
So you cut up some, not coconut, wow. Pineapple, a real pineapple, some pineapple juice, coconut cream, which looked like ice cream when you scooped it out.
Mm-hmm.
White rum, sugar, and some ice. Should have freezed the pineapple before, as always.
Yeah.
I screw that part up, but whatever.
One day we will get a slush.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. But yeah, I'm excited. I feel like it's very summer
island
court
vibes.
looking. Yeah.
This is what Tarquin drinks at the end of a long day.
It is.
Being a high lord.
Yeah, fresh High Lord. Drinking his fresh pina coladas.
On his boat.
Oh.
I got a pina colada mustache.
Hang on.
I love it. I don't even like pineapple.
No?
Like, I don't eat pineapple.
Oh, I love pineapple.
Put it in a smoothie, it's good. But I really like it.
I feel like it could be a little bit sweeter, which the recipe said you did need to kind of taste it.
It's still sweet,
and put more sugar in. But I like it.
And it tastes fresh.
It does taste very fresh, which I do love.
Yeah. No, and the it not being like totally slush doesn't bother me.
No, same. Which, I mean, it also said in there it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
It's like a creamy pineapple. It's like creamy, but it's not super thick.
It is very fresh tasting.
I was scared for this one.
Same, I was terrified.
Pineapple kind of tastes like feet to me. Not taste, I mean smells like feet to me.
The ingredients also were really vague on how much rum to put in. So...
I think it's a good ratio. We really debated too, like what to do for this summer drink.
Because we both had different visions.
Very different visions.
Yeah.
When I thought summer court, I was like, obviously a slush, obviously it's going to be blue, and obviously there's going to be a giant banana as a garnish, right? Like, that was in my head. I thought we were on the same page. I didn't think I would have to say that. And then you're like,
no.
Oh, I'm going to make a cucumber.
It was a blue looking drink though.
Cucumber smash with a blue liquor. Like, what? And then we compromised
with the pina colada. Yes, it's a classic drink.
Did I bulldoze your summer court vision?
A little bit, and then but then also working out how our drinks were going to work, it made sense. And I feel like a pina colada is like a fun
you got to do the classics.
Yeah, but I did not put a banana in it. And
no, yours looks much more sophisticated than what
I think I had more of a sophisticated vision in my mind.
You did.
Yeah. Okay, what are you going to rate it?
Oh my gosh. I made on my notes app, I actually started putting them in order because they're so close together because we've had so many good ones.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I started to do that. So I don't know where this fits because I don't even remember the numbers anymore, but I would probably say this is an 8 for me.
Okay. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
I think every drink I put above an 8.
You're usually between 8 and 8.5.
No, I haven't. No, there was 2 of them that were lower than that.
Yeah.
But... Okay. It's gonna get jumbled because I know that looking at the list of what we have planned, there's gonna be some good ones.
Yes, I'm excited. I think for our recordings, not next episode, but the 2 after that. I'm excited for those ones.
So,
chapter 32.
They just got notice that they have been invited to the summer court, though they did ask to be invited. So it's not like, hey guys, come for a party. It's like, oh, they have finally said yes. Okay, you guys can come over. Fine.
And they are going there to get half of the book.
Yes, but the summer court peeps don't know that. They gotta trick them.
Yeah, they're stealing.
Yeah. So Feyre, Rhys, and Amren are the trio that they've decided are going to go there. Mm-hmm. Everyone else has to stay home. Yeah. And they arrive in Adriata, the castle city of the summer court.
Yes, and Feyre is disguised as Rhys's newest pet that he's going to bring to be shown around the city.
Which, I don't know. I mean, do you really think that Tarquin is going to fall for that you are? Because she says, if we're lucky, none of them would realize that Rhys's lapdog was actually a bloodhound. Like, do you think that he actually thinks that you were with Tamlin and now you're just like...
No, which I feel like after, like, we kind of read it, like, no, Tarquin's smart.
Yeah, it feels like a bad plan to me.
Yeah, but whatever, they go, they land.
And
win.
I wrote down this random quote that you probably don't remember, but there's a reason that I wrote it down. But it says, then I was squinting into the glaring sun of a turquoise sea, just as I was trying to reorder my body around the dry, suffocating heat, even with the cooling breeze off the water. So just as someone who lives in Canada, going to a place that is very hot. Yeah. I related to this experience of like stepping off the plane and be like, oh, you live in this.
Yeah. All the time.
This is how you live. Okay.
It's very hot.
I see.
That is good. Yes, agreed.
Anyway, we meet the High Lord of the Summer Court, which we saw a glimpse of him under the mountain.
Yes.
Right?
But we officially meet him now.
Tarquin.
Which I love that name.
Me too.
Yeah. He's described as having rich brown skin, white hair, and eyes of crushing turquoise blue. He sounds real pretty.
He does sound very
love that combination.
Beautiful. Now, Feyre feels like she recognizes him in a different way. She's thinking that the seed of power that she got under the mountain that maybe, like, recognizes the power within him. Like, there is...
Yes, like, there's, like, a mutual, like, a pull.
Yeah.
And kind of also hoping that he doesn't...
notice the same thing.
I do love Rhys at one point. Well, I guess, we meet everybody else. I should say that.
Yeah, we meet Cressida.
Cressida, which that's not what I was saying, and I listened to the audiobook. I was saying Cressida.
Me too. Yep.
Yeah, so it's Cressida.
The Princess of Adriata, and Varian, her younger brother, the Prince of Adriata. And I just wrote down that Amren is pretty mean. So they're all trying to like play their part, right? They're like, oh, we're the mean knight court people. Yeah. And so Amren's a bit of an asshole. Calls the High Lord that died, that was killed by Amarantha. She calls him ugly. Like, whoa. Yes. Amren. Oh, and there's an awkward moment just as an observer because Feyre's trying to play it up, right? Yeah. That she's this pet. And she says, here I was thinking you had a fascination with my mouth.
Okay, but what fault? Because I had the before comment highlighted because Tarquin was looking at her.
Yeah.
And Rhys looks at him and says, "Her breasts are rather spectacular, aren't they? Delicious, as ripe as apples." And then Farah
says that.
"Here I was thinking you had a fascination with my mouth." I'm like, you too.
Yeah, and so...
You just meeting. Like...
But Rhys, it says he delighted surprise lit Rhys's eyes. And I was like, is this... It felt very much like foreplay to me. Reading it, I was like, you guys are getting off on this.
Yeah.
Like,
but I do like
part.
In that setting, like he probably expected her to fall back a bit.
Yeah.
And she's really like standing that nightmare court vibe.
Yeah.
And she kind of throughout the chapter makes comments like to make sure she's very like stoic and doing all that. Like she does a very good job of playing the role type of thing.
Yeah, and he's turned on.
Oh yeah, this is great. A lot of back and forth is about to happen.
Tarquin's like, what is happening?
Yeah. Should I leave?
You have a tale to tell, it seems. Which to me was like, what the fuck is what are we getting into?
No. Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah. Okay. So then they go inside the castle, and it's beautiful.
Oh, it sounds so pretty.
Shell-flecked walls and walkways, sea glass chandeliers, windows looking out to the sea. Ugh.
Right? And it also is his first time hosting, so he is a new-ish High Lord.
That's a lot of pressure. Your first dinner party kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's the High Lord of the Night Court, which is apparently the most scariest.
Right, but clearly Tarquin's not that scared. They're trying.
No. So they go into, I guess, the dinner hall. They start having conversation. Well, Tarquin and Farah do.
Just off to the side. I wrote down this compliment, which is really strange. He said, "You are a pearl."
I also wrote that down. I knew that the day you threw the bone at Amarantha that splattered mud on her favorite dress. They're also doing some, which, I mean, Farah wants to flirt with him because she needs to get on his good side, but
he was being complimentary, and it seemed like she was trying to flirt, and he was like, what's happening? Because it's like, okay, are you Rhys's pet? Are you trying to flirt with me? Like, the dynamic was confusing as I was reading. I was like, what are they trying to do?
At first, I didn't feel like that. Later on, I kind of was like, oh, I don't know. But I don't know. I think they just have, like, a nice chemistry with each other as well.
Yeah, and he's being nice to her, and then I think she's trying to be flirty, and then just, like...
I don't think he's mad about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Rhys goes into war talk, saying that the war is happening with the King of Highburn. Mm-hmm. And Tarquin clarifies, like, okay, but there's this other war that I'm also nervous might happen when it comes to Tamlin. What if Tamlin tries to get Farah back, and he's basically saying, I don't want a part in that. If that is why you're here and why you want my allyship, I don't want to be a part of that. And Cressida says, the law states that Tamlin's bride, if he wanted to ask Tarquin to return her, then he would have to do that.
The law is the law. Cressida sounds... Right, Cressida?
Cressida.
Oh my god, man. Cressida. She sounds fun.
She doesn't like him.
No, she... But I like her. She's just right away like, well, two men are going to go over to war with you. Farah does kind of strike back a couple times with her, but...
But Tarquin, because of what Rhys did for him under the mountain, I think he sees through the facade, which is like, they're all playing it up. And just how I read it, I was like, I don't think he's buying a lot of this, right?
I think, Tarquin kind of comes to their defense pretty much and was just like, these are our guests, treat them as such. Treat them as the people who like saved our necks, because that's what they both did. Rhys did it when he could have spilled what actually happened.
That they were all trying to escape.
Yeah. Obviously, like, after... So
we're off on a good foot here.
Yeah, like after Rhys says, like, I will kill you all if you tell Tamlin, and Farah goes, no wonder immortality never gets dull, and kind of like lightens the mood, and she feels like a pleasing tug from Rhys being like, that was good.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, you're doing great, honey. So proud of you.
So, chapter 33, they're done that little dinner get-together, whatever it is, and Rhys and Farah have a chat after they find their rooms.
Side note, we're never going to get through this with my side notes right now. They talk about, like, the room, and it sounds beautiful. So, I think we should open up a hotel-themed ACOTAR with all the different courts.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, everything
sounds expensive.
Yeah. Just throwing it out there if anyone wants to invest. Okay, so they are talking in the bedroom.
So they're talking about stealing the book, and then Rhys is worried because he says that he does like Tarquin, but they have to do anything to get the book. And she says, well, what if I had to sleep with Tarquin to get to the book? And he says, you can do whatever you like. And I just wrote down, this is more like flirting and like foreplay and weird stuff. Like, are y'all getting off on talking about like her flirting with Tarquin and like
probably
him
a little
potentially
bit
having sex with Tarquin, and then, you know, his hands are braced on either side of her.
Well, he also, I think, does it to rile her up because that's what gets her magic going. Because anytime those situations happen, which obviously he's enjoying himself and loves doing it. I'm not saying he's not, but a lot of the times in most of those situations, he then is like, do this. Because after this, he's like, light that candle. So he knows when she's like, clearly they like each other. It's flirting and it's fun. And that's also great for Farah. Flirting makes you feel good. So you get off on that flirting, you two. You both deserve it.
Yeah. Well, it's going to get weird later, too, though.
Yeah, it sure does.
She wants to know if Tamlin's really going to go for war for her. He says he doesn't know. She said that she would go back to him, but doesn't want to, but would just do it for, to stop a war from coming.
Yeah.
And he said he locked you up because he knew. The bastard knew what a treasure you are, that you are worth more than land or gold or jewels. He knew and wanted to keep you all to himself. And she said, he does love me, Rhysand. And he said, the issue isn't whether he loved you, it's how much. Too much. Love can be poison. And
You're not wrong.
Well, I just want to clarify, like, you can't love someone, like, too much. I feel like sometimes when someone's, like, super controlling, you're like, oh, they love you too much. Like she said earlier in the book. It's like, that's not love.
That's not what love is.
That's just like possessiveness.
Yeah. It's a different form of love. I feel like that's such a big conversation.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a different form of love, or you think it's love, what you're doing. Like,
yeah.
And Farah is also still newly out of that
relationship.
Yeah.
And then he was gone. All of a sudden, I was like, that was dramatic. Mm-hmm. He just like says this and then just like... Whew.
Also in that point, because he does test her to blow out the candle, but then she does stuff with water.
Yeah.
Because...
her water powers are showing up. They're thinking because she's in the summer court.
And she makes this
that's Tarquin's.
Beautiful water droplet chandelier over top of them. So it's party time next on the pleasure barge.
Boat party!
Woo!
I want to go to this party.
Obviously, it's like a little cruise.
So down in the lower levels, people are chilling on their couches, just, other peeps, and then they're in the higher part of the boat, and it says they're dinner. They're under a canopy of tiles set with mother of pearl, and under that was a long table was set.
Farah just notes how Rhys doesn't compliment her.
You didn't notice her hot outfit.
Yeah, and she's like, even I had been pleased with how I looked.
I look great. Why aren't you telling me I look great?
I feel
Does anyone not see this? Look how good I look.
She's like, I did my own hair. What? They're such in a... like that when you start to like someone, like not really...
but you don't admit it, but you're like, yeah.
And I feel like this dinner kind of like the same thing, but that new, like, almost high school-ish, because like, I'm not going to tell you that I like you, but... don't upset me.
But she kind of can't because she, like, just almost didn't get married. So it's...
also that, but it just reminds me of that... yeah. Those, like, emotions that you feel.
Yeah, that you can't
like
express
this whole part.
It's inappropriate or it's... you can't or whatever the reason.
Yeah. This whole part, like, you can just, like, feel those.
It's super uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable, but I love it.
But Farah sits beside Tarquin, hangs out with him. He asks her about the mortal world, and she says that the class lines aren't as blurred there as they are in the Fae world. So in the mortal world, you're either rich or you're poor.
Very straight up.
He clarifies, like, maybe the Fae world is more similar than you think, talking about lesser fairies and Fae, and how even... high face servants, they have more rights than the wealthiest lesser fairies. So, like, that actually is pretty similar. She
even knows, I think when she got there, or at some point while she's there, she doesn't see any lower fairies anywhere.
Yeah, they're not to be seen.
Yes. I think this is an interesting conversation. It does show a lot about Tarquin.
Yeah.
As well, that he does explain how he agrees that he wants to see more change in that.
Yeah.
Which is, as you've seen, like, especially like Tamlin, like, that's not something they're interested in.
It's different.
He's a modern thinker like Rhys, I think. And that's also why I think Rhys likes him. Yeah.
Yeah. He said that he's known many lesser fairies who suffered for merely being born on the wrong side of power, and that he wants them to have a voice too. So he's basically talking about privilege here. Mm-hmm. He sees that there's privilege, like people are just born into situations that they have no control over, and then that is their fate.
Yeah. And
that doesn't make sense to him. So
even though he was born into that, he had a good fate because he is wealthy and has all these things, and just really like him.
Feyre says it would be easy to fall in love with you and easier to call you a friend.
Oh, it's kind of confusing to me, but
it's
cute.
very confusing and forward, but it's cute.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna go out next weekend. I'm going to Vegas, so I'm gonna use this line.
Okay, go up to a man on the slot machine and be like, wait. Just have in your back pocket, just have lines from these books, and We'll take a not a poll, but we'll do some research. See how many hits you get.
Yeah, what lines work the best.
How many numbers you can get from saying these lines.
I'll report back, guys.
Oh, I have one written down. I've been lonely for a very, very long time.
Isn't that just what her thought?
Yes,
but you want me to say it? Okay.
If you could say it to a random man.
Yeah, that's no problem.
And just let me know how that goes.
Hopefully I don't get murdered. This is really nice to drink as we're in the summer court.
Yeah.
I like it.
Feyre notices that Rhys is flirting with Cressida, and she's jealous.
She's very jealous. And how she writes this, I was like, oh, I can feel this jealousy right now because Rhys isn't giving her any eye contact, has not complimented her outfit. They had that argument earlier where she said she was going to fuck around with Tarquin. Mm-hmm. You two are getting real dramatic, and I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's really realizing that she's jealous and it's affecting her. And I think Tarquin also notices her, like, looking over.
Yeah, and she's like, okay, he teased her, we flirted, but he never came on to her like he's doing to Cressida. So why not me?
Right? She said jealousy, rejection. I was like, oh.
And she feels shame because, like, okay, I shouldn't be feeling this way also. Like, I was just about to get married, so maybe I shouldn't be feeling this way. It's a hot mess.
Yeah, mixed bag of emotions.
But she realizes that she feels unhappy, which is not a totally negative thing because she realizes, okay, I'm feeling feelings, right? I was so numbed out for so long that even noticing that I feel unhappy is different.
She's coming back to life. She gets up and leaves, goes down, and in her mind she's kind of like, good riddance, and pissed off, and
fuck you, but then I'm fine. I'm fine.
But come find me. So they dock.
Tell me I look pretty.
Yeah, she realizes she's been sitting down there for an hour, and she's like, I didn't even realize I was waiting for him, because she thought he would follow eventually, and then he doesn't. So that's even more of a stab in the heart.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. And then they dock, and she looks around, and him and Cressida are nowhere to be found. Also to note, which we haven't really, there's kind of like a little bit of back and forth between Amryn and Varian that happens throughout this.
Yeah, and Amryn's feeling it. Like, she's like, you know when you're about to do, like, a prank or something? Like, I feel like that's, like, Amryn's vibe, where she's like, ooh, this'll be fun. Yeah. But it's, like, kind of hot.
Yeah, like, they're constantly just watching each other.
Let's see what happens here.
They're both supposed to be guarding, but I feel like they're also just kind of hanging around.
They're just, like, eye-fucking?
Yeah. It's this real, like...
But nothing ever happens between them. They just... No. In each other's presence, but the tension is high.
So throughout the whole summer court part, that's kind of what they do the entire time.
Yeah, no, it doesn't change.
And it's just kind of, it's thrown in there randomly, like, a lot, how they're always kind of just around each other, staring. Well, he's more staring. She'll be, like, doing her nails or something.
So, chapter 34, Feyre's thankful she didn't hear Rhys doing it.
Yeah.
Because that's uncomfortable.
I
have a crush on you. I don't want to hear you doing it.
No, not at all. I mean, even if I didn't, I wouldn't want to hear it anyways.
And she thinks for a heartbeat, I missed Velaris, missed the lights and the music and the rainbow. I missed the cozy warmth of the townhouse to welcome me from the crisp winter missed what it had been like to be a part of their little unit. So I just wanted to note that because she's kind of just alone in her room, and she just had this rift she felt between her and Rhys, but she still is starting to consider Velaris home, and like she's part of their group.
And not at any point has she mentioned how she misses the spring court.
Right.
It's not like she hasn't said I miss these, like all the parts that she misses about Velaris. She hasn't said anything about that, about the spring court. So I really, how fast this is becoming more of her home. Also, like even like you have here, that she kind of thinks more about the Rhys thing and how she's upset that maybe him wrapping his wings around me, doing the notes, was just him ensuring that his weapon didn't break beyond repair. But maybe it actually wasn't what she thought it was. I just feel like she's in a negative little
She did this commentary before, right? Where she's just like, oh, he's just flirting with me to get me riled up, which, yes, that's a part of it. But she's like, she's questioning, she's trying to like bring herself back. Like, he's just doing this. Yeah. He's just your friend. He's just doing it to like help you be in a better mood. Like, stop building it up in your mind. Like, trying to talk herself down from having feelings, basically. She's like, we're friends. We can work together. Yeah. Which is great. Yes, they are friends. So. Yeah. And she says, it had just been a relief to think that for a moment he might have been as lonely as me. Yeah. Right? Where she was like, oh, okay, we're both lonely and flirting. We're just using each other to do this thing. But she's like, oh, okay, maybe. Yeah. Maybe he was pitying me, or maybe, Yeah. So she doesn't go to breakfast, goes and has a bath for a real long time, but she makes water animals in the bath, which I just thought was really fun. Yeah. So she's practicing, but it just sounds real fun. Imagine when you were a kid, or even an adult, you were in the bath and you could just make all these cool water animals. That'd be really cool. Yeah. The next day. No, it's that day. The morning she misses breakfast, they all go to like a meeting. That's why she spends the time in the bath. The same day. Feyre goes out into the common areas. She ignores Rhys. And she walks away with Tarquin. Right? There's like a slight interaction, but she doesn't acknowledge Rhys. Nuala is so good at her job as a stylist that she did style Feyre to be dressed similar as Tarquin. So they just look like this little cute matching combo. And then she doesn't make eye contact with Rhys. And then Tarquin's like, hey, let's go. And she just puts her arm through his, and then she gives him. With all that thinking about, like, oh, he doesn't owe me anything, she really took a turn. A petty turn here. And I loved it so much. I loved it, and I hated it. Yeah. I was like, Feyre, girl, stop it. But then that night before, he was sitting with Cressida and not making any eye contact at all with her. So? I'm clearly a bitter revenge person where I'm like, yes, Feyre, you do that. Why does he? He's feeling feelings too. She knows that. So you know what? You want to play that game? You guys are on a mission. Still, I was all for it. Well, you're petty. Yeah, sure am. You're a bitter bitch. No, I'm a petty princess. Petty princess. Anyway, she goes on this tour with Tarquin, and as she's walking away, she feels Rhys brush against her mental shield, and she thinks he might be trying to say, be careful, but she also thinks, though it felt an awful lot like the dark, flickering emotion that had haunted me, so much like it that I had stepped closer to Tarquin. And then I have the High Lord of the Summer, I gave the High Lord of the Summer a pretty mindless smile that I had not given to anyone in a long, long time. So I interpreted this as she felt Rhys's jealousy, or she felt his protective nature, and like that was familiar, and she was trying to keep that out. And then her pettiness was like, I'm going to give him a sweet smile, the Tarquin, to make Rhys more mad. Oh, yeah, she's trying to make Rhys mad by doing that. Okay. I think, he was trying to say, it's more like, oh, now you're paying attention to me. Mm-hmm. Okay, now you're doing... And she's also thinking that he slept with Cressida the night before. Yeah, you were also at your wedding a month ago, though, so... Christina, a lot has happened since then, okay, babe? I like how she did. I'm like, yeah, good for you. He ignored you at dinner. Tarquin takes Feyre to go see all the jewels and the treasures that the summer court has to offer. There's some flirting that happens, and he says, I'd say I'm looking at the most valuable thing in here. Oh, should I add that to one of my pickup lines? Yes.
Perfect.
Or you should say... This is so stupid. Someone of those slot machines? Money? I'd say I'm looking at the most valuable thing in here.
Oh.
What do you say we get out of here?
No, I'm just going to say that and walk away and see if they follow.
Just walk really quickly and see if they can they can follow.
Now catch me.
Yeah. Can you speed walk? If you can't, then too bad.
I'm a speed walk champion.
Have a fanny pack too.
I will.
Anyway,
back to the jewels.
She's just making note of the beautiful jewelry and things. Like there's a ruby necklace and one made from black diamonds. And then Tarquin's like, oh, you can have this black diamond one.
I love how that was how you said.
I know.
You can have this black diamond.
This is not how I think Tarquin talks.
No,
I'm
not
not
at
sure
all.
why I'm doing that voice. But he says, like, for what you did under the mountain, take these jewels. We have a lot. Yeah. So it's
They're
okay.
sitting here. And she wants, like, she says no, or...
Yeah.
But
like,
he's...
Take it.
Yeah. But then he says, if anything, take it because you're the first person who didn't laugh.
Yeah.
When I said about, like, the classes and bringing people together.
Equality. And yeah.
I love Tarquin.
I know.
Poor Tarquin.
He wants her to be an ally for the North too, just like she is for Rhys, the emissary to the human land, says, hey, you can do that for me as well. And also because he believes that she has sway over Rhys, that she has a relationship with him and could be helpful to be like the in-between person.
Yes. I was going to read everything he said, but I feel like he read Rhys 100% correctly.
Oh, I have that part too. Yeah. We can skip to that part. Yeah, so Tarquin says that he's new and he's inexperienced and he's not sure how to act as a High Lord because Feyre notes, like, how sort of direct he is. And so he's like, okay, well, I don't really know how to do this.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, and then he says, I know I'm supposed to look at you and see that he's made you into a pet, into a monster, but I see the kindness in you, and I think that reflects more on him than anything, and I think it shows you and he have many secrets. He also...
Yeah, he's like, you guys are showing up and you're like, have this little... Like, you're presenting in a certain way. I see through that. I saw what Rhys did under the mountain. I see that you're not this, like, pet, right? That you are a kind person. Like,
yeah, and he's not treating you like a pet.
It.
He also says... He's like, but I mean it. You have sway with Rhysand. He is notoriously difficult to deal with. He gets what he wants, has plans he does not tell anyone about until after he's completed them, and does not apologize for any of it. Be his emissary to the human realm, but also be ours.
Yeah, and that
and then the other part we read, I'm just like, yeah, you're totally can see right through him.
Yeah, I see that you're not a bad guy, but I also see that you will manipulate, and because you have a larger plan and he doesn't, which is foreshadowing. Right?
Yes,
because that's exactly what they do.
That's exactly what's happening.
And Tarquin asks about Tamlin. So is it true that he locked you in the house? She says yes. Asks if it's true that the Night Court saved her. She says yes. And so he basically says, like, okay, I won't tell the Spring Court, even though that they are my allies. Like, knowing
unless
that,
I'm asked, I will not say anything.
Knowing that, I will keep it to myself.
Yeah.
Now...
And Farrah just feels real guilty after this whole thing.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, he's so great. No. And I'm still going to have to steal from him. One thing I feel like we didn't make clear was why she tried to go on those tours with Tarquin. Because she's trying to find the book.
Right. The main reason why we are there.
She's trying to sniff out all the troves.
Yes,
and all the
like
things
she did at the Weavers.
Yeah.
Yes.
To see if she can feel the energy of the book to see where it is.
And so, I believe at one point they do mention, like, they go into a room with art and with books. Like, just a room full of books.
She does all these tours, explores, and she can't sense it at all.
More interested in the... boy drama over here. So continue with that. She goes back to her room, and who's lounging on her bed?
Yes, which reminds me of that scene of Under the Mountain where he suddenly appears and he's on his...
And she's picking out lentils from the fireplace.
Yeah. She says to Rhys, like, she's feeling the guilt, right? Tarquin, he's such a good man.
He gave her that necklace.
Yeah. And she said, why don't you just ask him? Mm-hmm. Just ask him. Maybe he'll give you the book. But he doesn't think that's a good idea.
Yeah. And she makes a comment about him and Cressida. Yeah. He's like, no, nothing happened.
You slept with her.
Yeah. You like, monster. No. He didn't even kiss her, took her out for drinks after, and also kind of says, like, I don't feel good doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'm doing it to keep her busy so that you can do what we came here to do.
She says it gets under your skin that I shut you out, but I'm letting Tarquin in. So she's kind of trying to bait him here, right? Yeah. You're jealous, and then he basically admits that he's jealous.
But he kind of did the same, like, he was like, oh, okay, you're jealous. Like, you're
jealous. No, you're jealous.
They're both playing the same game.
Says, like, you smiled at him. And you said that he'd be easy to love. And he knows that she meant it when she said that.
Yeah, I did feel bad for him at this part. That's to hear her say,
like, oh,
I could fall in love with you, and then to see her smile like that at him.
He's put a lot of effort into trying to get you on his good side, and so for you to just meet this other High Lord who he also respects and feels a good guy, and then you say that to him, he's like, oh, what about me?
Even at the same point, she's also doing what she's supposed to be doing. They're clearly both doing what they're supposed to be doing, but they're both upset.
See, here's the thing. I feel like this hit a deeper wound for Rhys, because then he goes on to talk about how he's jealous of Tarquin, right? That
Farrah's like, oh, you really are. She realizes, oh, you actually are jealous. It's not like this playful thing that we're doing.
That Tarquin, like, he has to play the bad guy, Rhys, right? Everybody thinks he's a bad guy. Tarquin gets to actually be the good guy and to get to explore these ideas of equality and making changes and
admits that he was jealous.
The High Lord that he would like to be. And Tarquin gets to do it without any threat, right? That Rhys, anyone who he's dated or, you know, anyone who's tried to, like, let's say, come in his circle, that I wrote down, like, dating troubles, right? Yeah. It's like anyone who I potentially could like also has to take on this idea of this guy who is the High Lord of the Night Court, who has this particular reputation, and there's always going to be threats on their family and themselves.
If they have children.
He has so much more difficulty in his social life than Tarquin does, so he's jealous of the life that Tarquin gets to live and the position that he has within
And also
Prythian.
that the Summer Court's very neutral. It's always been neutral.
Yeah, there's
he gets to play that role, and that's never going to be a thing for him, so he's kind of like, so yes, I was jealous of him because it'll always be easy for him.
Yeah, and then you played into that, and it was like, oh, a dagger to the heart, right? Yeah.
And he says he'll never know what it is. He will never know what it is to look up at the night sky and wish. Farrah realizes, like, oh, the Court of Dreams. So the people who knew that there was a price, the one worth paying for that dream, the bastard-born warrior, the Yalarian half-breed, the monster trapped in a beautiful body, the dreamer born into a court of nightmares, and the huntress with an artist's soul. So the inner circle, if you have not caught on. So she kind of realizes this and looks at him and pours a drink, walks over and cheerses and says, to the people who look up at the stars and wish, Rhys. He cheerses her back and says, to the stars who listen and the dreams that are answered.
Aww. Which we can now reveal was on Jamie's mug.
Yes!
From episode, it was 7 or 6.
Yeah.
But the gift that I gave Jamie for her birthday was a clear mug that had the Illyrian mountains, and it has that quote above it.
Yeah. Which I totally forgot that it was in this chapter. I thought it was later on.
I thought it was in the next, it was coming up next, but no, it's in this.
And I actually like it even more rereading it and realizing what part it came after.
Yeah.
Like a lot more. I just kind of loved it. And in also between that cheersing, she did say she wondered why it bothered blushing at all for Tarquin.
Uh-oh.
Do they like each other, guys?
Oh, God. If it's not obvious by now. Okay.
Another part, which was kind of skipped over, was at one point, Farrah thinks about Calamai.
Oh, yeah, because someone mentions that that is coming up.
Yeah, and her stomach kind of twists.
You mean Cal and May?
Sure do.
You got it wrong.
I did.
Yeah, and she thinks about Tamlin and how he's going to have to go through the rite and do it with another lady, and that makes her feel uncomfortable. So I noted that just because
I feel like it makes her feel uncomfortable, but not like in a jealous way.
No, but I wanted to mention it just because within that flirting and my like questioning of Vera's behavior, you're still having this reaction. So like if you're still having that reaction, like you just need to be more careful with your behavior and other people's hearts.
Yes. I think also like just looking at Reese, like even though she knows like more about him, he's always played that kind of flirtatious role with her. Even when she was very
be careful
much with...
because he is a person, right?
Well, yes, I think now she's obviously seeing way more of that, and it's becoming more than it was before.
Yeah,
it's a very crooked line that they're walking. Is that how you say that?
I would just like for her to consider his feelings alongside hers, but she's also in this like weird mind frame of he doesn't like me. Like she's like can't admit that to herself. Yeah. But we can talk about that later.
Yeah, okay. Continue on.
Okay.
Why we're here.
Chapter 35. Feyre finally spots this building.
A couple days go by.
Yeah, but she's still searching and looking around the summer court. Okay, where would this book be hidden in this city? And so she finally sees this building from afar when the tide is out, which kind of gets hidden when the tide comes in. Yeah. So she hadn't seen it before. But she thinks that maybe the book could be hidden there.
She does feel a bit of like something.
A tingle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tingles.
And so at dinner, she asked Griselda and Tarquin outright about, what is that building?
Maybe tomorrow. She talks about her day. She's like, I ate fish by the dock. Happened to see this little building.
Maybe we could go visit.
Right away, there is a different reaction.
Alarm bells go off for them, clearly.
Yeah, there's just a difference all of a sudden in the atmosphere.
So she's like, okay, it's in there.
Yeah. You guys just told me.
Now, Feyre was very crafty in using her powers that she didn't even know that she had, but she went into Tarquin's mind.
Because can see his kind of panicked look.
Yeah, why is she asking that? Blah, blah, blah. And so she uses like her ability to go into his mind unseen because she has all of these seeds from all the other High Lords, right? That she did the same thing with Reese where she was able to infiltrate his mind. Yeah. Because mind recognizes... Right. Yeah. So she did that with Tarquin.
Kind of goes, Vera's your friend.
Yes. And
she's lonely.
Which reminds me of like those things where people like go to sleep and they listen to like these mantras and then hope that it infiltrates their brain.
I do that every night.
Do you?
Yeah, it puts me to sleep.
Okay. I'm special.
No, it's
beautiful.
not. It's more like it's a walking through to like relax your body meditation.
Oh, okay. Well,
it does say it does say like positive like affirmation things that are supposed
Does
to
it work?
No, it puts me to sleep.
Anyway, Feyre does that, and it works. And later that night, when she talks to Reese in her room, she realizes that Reese did the same thing with Varian and Griselda, that he was using his powers to make sure that they were distracted and thought of something else, so they didn't linger on the thought of, like, why is she asking us?
Well, and to also notice her not going into... He was distracting them. So that they wouldn't notice that she was going into Tarquin's mind as well.
She asked if it was true when he went into her mind. So like when she was still living in the spring court.
Yes.
And he says that he left parts of her mind undisturbed and that he always will. And he said, as for the rest, you scared the shit out of me, Feyre. And I just had kind of an adverse reaction to this. Just because it was like... She just had this experience with Tamlin. Oh, are you laughing at my note?
No. No.
Well, she just had this experience with Tamlin being super controlling and overpowering her even, like, consent and decisions. And so it was like, okay, Reese, you were scared and you were worried, so you took it upon yourself to infiltrate her mind without her consent. Isn't that the same shit?
I took it as he kind of just, like, felt out if she was, like, alive more.
Yeah, that it just felt icky a little bit.
Yeah.
But Amryn interrupts them.
Yes, and then they make a plan for the night after. I do love that Farrah's kind of like, hey, we'll look at the guards' schedules like tonight. You know
She's smart.
Right? And I'm like, go Farrah. And then Reese says like, oh, you think like an Alarian.
Yeah. Oh, look what she can do if you actually bring her into the conversation.
Yeah, Tamlin, if you would have helped her out and
like,
brought
go
her.
paint Farrah.
God, you know nothing about war.
Fucking idiot. That's what he said, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Feel like pina colada.
Stealing the book. Chapter 36.
I have stealing time.
Oh, that one's more fun. So they do it under the cover of the darkness. Reese
is like, okay, bye, girls.
Yeah, he's like, bye, go do your thing.
Yeah.
And so Amren and Feyre go to the temple. Amren is, she's special. She is an old being, and so they feel like she could sense the book or read the book, and she is the best person to go with Feyre to do this.
I do like they like go up to it, and Farrah's like, oh, it's sleeping. I was like, that's creepy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that.
So they dig into the mud until they find a door. Feyre shifts into Tarquin.
Right? Isn't that...
To get into the doors, and the door believes that it's her. And
so
she
she
unlock
finally
it.
uses those shape-shifting abilities.
She does it.
She's like, oh, I looked at my hand, and it was just...
She changes into him.
So cool.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
So they go down and they find another door to unlock, and then they find the box inside that has the book, and she can hear the book talking to her.
Oh, when you're listening to the audio, it's so creepy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I wrote down some of the quotes because I was like, just reading it sounds so creepy.
Yeah, I was like driving, listening to the audio, and I was like, oh.
Who are you?
Oh, that's not how she was like, who are you?
What are you? Come closer. Let me smell you. Let me see you.
Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?
Okay, that's creepier.
That's how the lady in the book did it.
And then she grabs the book and it goes, liar.
And the door slams.
And they're locked inside.
This was a lot longer of a process that was really dramatic with lots of mud and water. But we don't need to
I'm not a huge fan of action scenes. I'm just like, to what happens.
Liked this one. Not that we can really like but I did like it.
Look, they almost drowned and then
they do. They almost drowned.
Anyway, that is the end of chapter 36.
Yeah. Door slams, locked in. Liar. Oh, I was just so into that action scene.
Okay.
Cast and call.
What's your summer court version though?
Oh.
You're gonna do like a Bob Marley.
Yeah, I don't feel like that. It's appropriate. If you like casting calls. That didn't.
And getting caught in the sunshine.
And getting caught under the sea.
Oh.
Well, you know, they're all trapped now.
True.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a biggie that I'm really excited for because I think I have opinions. Especially my Tarquin and my Varian. Those castings I've had from since I've read the books. Like I had the same people that I imagine.
My Tarquin I have.
So those were super easy for me. Yeah. What do you think the order should be?
You know, let's start with Varian, Cressida, and then Tarquin.
Okay. So my Varian is Tyler James Williams, who do you watch?
It's gonna have some of this pina colada while you figure your shit out.
Abbott Elementary. Have you seen Abbott Elementary?
I seen like 2 episodes and it was really funny.
You need to watch it.
I know.
It's on Disney Plus. But Tyler James Williams, he's on Abbott Elementary. Okay, well, and he was also on The Walking Dead, but if you're not a Walking Dead fan, you wouldn't know because he died pretty quickly.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched that yet.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, I know who he is.
Yeah. So that's who I always imagine as Marion.
I like that.
I think he's like, even on Abbott Elementary, he has a very like straight face. He's a straight face guy.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how I imagine Varian.
Yeah.
He's very like stoic and but you're like drawn to him. Good energy.
Mine is Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
I feel like he could play that role. And he's like a good like protector guard looking man, and I just really love him.
Well, yeah, you need to throw him in there for sure.
Yeah,
he needs to play someone.
He does, and I feel like I liked him for this.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's the only person that I was like, yeah. Okay, Cressida.
So I never really imagined who my Cressida was specifically.
I kind of did, and then kind of didn't. It was like a mixture of people.
Yeah.
And then I finally thought of someone. I was like, yes, that's kind of who I've been envisioning.
Okay, you go first with this one then.
At first I was kind of like that Halle, not like Halle Berry, Halle Bailey.
Yes. Yeah.
I kind of thought that, and then I was like, no, like that's not. So finally I was like, okay, that, I don't know if I'm saying her name, Tati Gabrielle.
No idea.
She was in Sabrina. And she was in You, like the show You.
No idea.
No?
But yeah, no, that she has a good look for it.
Right here she has like the blonde white hair. And she also just has that total vibe that she does.
Like scary?
Yes, that's Sabrina. She was one of the scary witches, and she has like this like soft voice, but like just like strong look where I feel like she can just like say things softly, but they're also like
scary.
Yeah. I really like her for it.
So mine is Logan Browning.
Sounds familiar.
She's probably most familiar from Dear White People on Netflix. I don't know if you watched that show.
No. Okay, yes, I do know who she is. That's why it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also had looked at her.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I watched Dear White People and she was good in that show. So she also has the same like in Dear White People, she's like kind of like the voice of reason and like strong voice, and she has like a radio show in it. So I'm like she I like her for it.
Yeah. My other person did you ever watch Blackish?
No.
Oh, the daughter in there.
But I know who that. I know who's. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in the other stuff. I kind of liked her, but my main was once I realized Tati. I don't know how to say her name, but okay. Tarquin, which I think you already know who mine is. Tarquin! I think I've told you. So exciting! I love Tarquin. Mine is Regé.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I feel like that's everyone's.
Well, I mean, he just has a look. Regé Jean Page, right? Regé Jean Page?
Yeah.
My second, which I saw some people
it's reggae.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. You know who I'm talking about, people. Was my other choice, which I kind of just saw people say, and I was like, oh, that wouldn't be that bad. But Jesse Williams.
That's mine.
Oh, shut up! Sorry.
Wow.
So who's your Tarquin?
Jesse Williams. Jesse Williams, who was in Grey's Anatomy, but I don't watch Grey's Anatomy, but he was just in the most recent season of Only Murders in the Building with Selena Gomez and Steve Martin, and I loved him in that. He was so cute, and
his eyes are just amazing.
But yeah, he's who I imagined reading the books.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the better pick, really. But as I predicted, Reggae Jean-Paul is in the running for the Steve Buscemi Award because he is my Azrael. Yeah. And Jesse Williams, also great choice, though. Yeah. Well, I also considered Jesse Williams as Varian, but then I was like, no, that doesn't fit. No. And I did watch Grey's Anatomy, so I know him pretty well. Me and him are close. Yeah. And like just personally watching him. Did you know that's called a parasocial relationship? Oh no, I did not. Like when you have a relationship with someone, but it's like not like one-sided. Like you feel like you know them when you've like watched them on like social media or like shows. Yeah, stalkers. Well, it's not stalker. Just like you feel like a connection. It's not. Yeah, it's not stalking. It's just okay. Well, I have a lot of those then. I have them with all these characters. Well, I have so many friends then. If that is. How many new friends I just made in my mind? Well, I feel like that was easy. That was. I thought that was really going to be more of a fight. Look, we liked all of each other. So I thought we were going to have more of a disagreement. Everyone gets a gold star. MVP. 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 Woo! Well, do you want to go first? I feel like I went first last time. Okay. Oh, I was torn on this one. Oh. Okay.
my first instinct was Crusader. Now, I didn't want to say Crusader because she was pretty shitty. She was pretty mean. But the reason I say Crusader is because on the pleasure barge, she shot her shot with Rhysand.
You know what? Yeah.
She leaned in. She did not care if Feyre was his
She was
pet.
sitting on his lap at one point.
She's like, oh, Rhysand, you're so funny.
Goes out for a drink, tries to take him into... you know what she did?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for her.
I just, I love the forward nature and get it, girl. Get it. I'm going to overlook all of the mean things you did and said.
Yep.
Because,
maybe she was a bit jealous of Feyre.
Oh, I'm sure she was.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll ask her.
The secondary one for me was the pleasure barge.
Oh.
The pleasure barge.
Just because it's called that?
No, just because I love a good boat party.
Yeah, they're great.
That whole party vibe that was described was like the ultimate vacay activity for me, with like a long table, lots of food, some pre-drinking, and then you go down to the lower levels and you have all of the lounge and like the dancing area, and you just overlook the sea and the you know, in the beautiful buildings and the how it is on like in like when you're stepping off the plane and it's like the massive heat. Okay, I can't handle that, but in those areas of the world where it's really hot, the evenings where it's like it's perfect. Like, it's a little bit cool, there's a breeze, and there's like
this
a little
warm
bit
breeze.
but you're still warm.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I will be going to Halifax at the beginning of July.
Oh, so same thing.
And we will be going on a boat for a party on the ocean. So
okay, so wear
cocktail party.
A raincoat.
Why am I going to wear a raincoat?
I don't know. I just imagine Halifax has a lot of like fog and rain.
Oh, well, you know what? I'll prove you guys wrong. I will post it on Instagram.
We'll see.
It is going to be beautiful sunset with cocktails.
# pleasure barge.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. # pleasure barge.
Okay, who's your MVP? Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I literally am just blanking on his name right now. I'm like, why?
Varian?
No.
Rhysand? No. Tarquin.
Tarquin, thank you. Tarquin.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good one.
I feel like it's kind of obvious, but I think just him, especially like putting himself out there with his thoughts and his modernness and wanting to change things, and
he's a good man.
Yeah, like Farrah said, I could fall in love with him too.
Yeah.
But I think he is just a really...
And I did.
Mm-hmm. He is just a really good person who wants like better for his people. And just the fact that he could call out Rhys like that, and I was like, yeah, you just...
It was a bit reckless, but I love it. But it showed how smart he is.
Yeah, and also him trying to, like, none of the other High Lords have ever tried to get on Rhys's goods, right?
Yeah.
And he's trying with Farrah and having them there when a lot of people probably told him not to.
He's not as jaded.
Yeah, that's very true. Which I love that, though.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also saw something in, like, Rhys, I think, under the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has a positive mindset and wants to try new things.
True.
Yay, Tarquin.
Okay.
And he just sounds real beautiful.
He does sound beautiful. Mm-hmm. Well, if he's Jesse Williams or Reggae Jean Paul, then of course.
No. It'd be amazing.
Okay. I might have a controversial loser.
A controversial loser. Is it going to be Farrah?
It's Farrah.
I knew it. I could tell you were upset with her this whole episode.
I was annoyed. I did recognize like a youthfulness in her responses.
I also thinking, this literally just came to me, I think a lot of it's like an insecurity.
Yes.
I think also coming out of that type of relationship and not getting the stuff that you want out of it. Also, like, in your human life, never really having any of that. I think a lot of it's still like a youthful, not even really a youthful insecurity, but I think there's also that plays
like
into it.
Not having secure relationships.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yes.
Well, don't ruin my loser, Jamie.
I just
I have empathy for her and understand how she got there. My loser award goes to her because I don't like how she's playing this. I'm like, I want her to do better.
Okay. You just want better. That's fair. This whole time I was like, yes.
I want her to... I like that she is trying to move on and she's flirting. Like, all of that is super fun. There's just like, she's like stuck in this insecurity still.
Yeah.
Where she's unable to be considerate of Reese. And that she's also not considerate of her own process of like trying to heal. Like, I feel like maybe she's like pushing it a little bit too far.
Yeah.
And then responding in ways that feel like petty and immature.
Yes. I think more it was when like the thing on the pleasure barge happened. Like the ignore like that part I could just like really feel for her in that moment where I was like, yeah, you be petty. I was,
but
like,
then
very
Reese
supportive.
explains to her later, he's like, that's what we agreed to. Like, I am playing a part.
Yes.
I'm trying to talk to Crisada and build a relationship with her. Obviously, I'm not going to be flirting with you. Like, I'm trying to do something here. I was
100% agree, but it just in that part, I was like, I can totally just relate to her, and I would have been like, I 100% would have done that.
No, yeah,
I would have not have picked the more mature response. I would have done what she did. You know, I clearly have not grown up.
Well, look,
but I loved it, and I was like, yeah, you do that.
Feyre won like
this
40 other MVPs.
Yeah.
In the back of our minds, so she gets one loser this time.
That's fair. I mean, and good for you for being more developed than me and Farrah.
What do I know?
I mean,
I haven't been in the dating world for a really long time. Who knows how I would behave?
I would have cut his head off.
Who knows what would the demons that would be awoken?
Right? You never know. It is a war out there, you guys.
It is a battle of hearts.
Yes.
Well, I hope you had a fantastic... We're not completely out of the summer court, but we will be soon. You can take off your large hat.
Sunglasses.
Or if you're me, you can take off your visor and your fanny pack. And your oversized shorts.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, so I hope you had some pina coladas with us.
And I hope you get caught in the rain.
Mm-hmm. And
or not.
I hope you go to our Spotify and Instagram and tell us.
We always forget that.
Yeah, just, tell us about how much you love pina coladas.
Yes.
Or what you would do in Farrah's situation.
Yes. Tell Jamie she's wrong. And give us 5 stars, please.
Petty princess. And yes, please give us 5 stars.
Okay, bye.
Bye.